Dan Garrett is a good cop who goes undercover to prison in order to investigate a pharmaceutical company that's been suspected of giving their inmates superhuman powers. So let's get this straight. We have a state-run prison that has allowed a third-party pharmaceutical company to come in and do unsupervised experiments with their inmates. Yeah, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Why would the prison allow this? Also, why would Hive Pharmaceuticals even want to run illegal experiments inside a government-run facility? Wouldn't they want to keep all this stuff off the record? Anyway, let's try not to think about it. It turns out that the prison is offering reduced sentences to their death row prisoners to be a part of these unsupervised third-party experiments. While all of this may seem illogical to us, we should keep an open mind. It might be an apt reflection of the Canadian penal system. Canadians are humble, trustworthy souls, and who are we to judge their majestic ways? Also, I need to point out that Canadian prisons don't seem too bad. Look at this scene. Firstly, Canadian prisons seem to be unisexed. Look at this. None of these death row prisoners are handcuffed, nor is there even a guard present. And look at this, their cells are made out of wood, and they have a nice rustic feel to them. In all honesty, it doesn't seem too bad. I've lived in worse places. Anyway, Hive Pharmaceuticals experiment on Dan. He gets superpowers, but the Hive tells the prison that he's died, and he had to be cremated right away. Dan escapes, and for no logical reason, he doesn't inform his colleagues, and he becomes a vigilante instead. Agent Beetle has a high pain threshold and fast healing abilities. He also can shoot powder from his hand, and he has a gun that we never see him use. Despite being called Agent Beetle, he doesn't dress nor have the powers of a beetle. Believe it or not, this won't be the last beetle-related superhero on our list. Let's have a look at the bad guy's powers. Roach is really strong. Cockroaches do have a hard outer armor. While it's not the first attribute I think of when I think of cockroaches, I guess it makes enough sense. Next we have Mantis. She can turn invisible. Praying mantises have quick reflexes that make their movements seem invisible. Just like Roach, this isn't the first attribute I think of, but it makes enough sense. Widow has advanced pheromones that allow her to seduce and control everyone. Out of all the villains, her name is the only one that seems apt. And lastly, Stinger. Stinger's power is a supersonic scream. As a stinger isn't an insect, trying to match his name up with a power is totally irrelevant. So how evil is Hive Pharmaceuticals? Well, they're slightly more evil than the Dowry Riser, but not by much. Hive Pharmaceuticals has accidentally killed 22 prisoners due to their failed experiments. Well, considering that all the people who died were volunteers and prisoners, and the deaths were accidental and we don't actually see any of them on screen, this barely makes it on our list. Also, another one that barely makes it on our list, spoilers, is that all the bad guys kill each other. They rack up a total of 3 deaths. This is equal to Agent Beetle, who has 3 unconfirmed deaths on his hands, all of which were nameless minions. The only real death comes when Lilith's assistant kills the employee of a rival pharmaceutical company. Let's take a look at some crossovers. Like all good comic books, Agent Beetle crosses over into the world of Thunderstorm: The Return of Thor. So the following characters have either changed their names and careers, or have identical twin brothers and sisters living in the same city. So the girl who got kidnapped in Thunderstorm briefly dated Dan before starting her new job at a newspaper. Also, the police chief from Thunderstorm is now the editor of the same newspaper. The cop has now become a baddie. Now let's have a look at some locations. Look at this. This door/Wally bit is the same. These characters are fighting in the same location. These characters even have the same move. And that's about it. So let's move on to number 8.